Hey there, Capricorn. Sorry, I forgot who I was reading. It's Jen from tarotspirit.net. I'm doing your readings for the week of October 8th. This will be for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I made an error in my first video and turned it off instead of just going to the next sign, so I decided to break them up into 4 different videos. Okay, so I'm using the Greenwich Tarot, and we are reading for Capricorn, the Lovers, the Moon, 10 of Pentacles, King of Cups. He's kind of a gross slob in this. Did I really just say that? He's a gross slob in this deck. I don't know why I said that. He's not, but I'm just getting that energy for him. He came up for someone else. Actually, I want to put that down. Okay. So some of you may need to make a decision. I feel like this is the meeting of the minds. Like you may have to have a sit down, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think if you've had some miscommunication with someone, or you feel like you're at odds with someone, or you're just sort of not working together, I find that most times that you just sit down and have a like, hey, let's sit down, try to work this out, because I feel like I'm misunderstanding you, and then I'm not really communicating well, and maybe we can just sit down and talk about it. That usually you find out that most of the time it's a misunderstanding, or you're both usually on the same page, but you're just like, for whatever reason. I mean, we miscommunicate all the time. That's how wars are started, I think. So just having a sit down or even throwing some ideas around with someone. It could be more of that type of a meeting, like a brainstorming session with someone, or bouncing your ideas off of someone. If you need to communicate something this week, it could be getting together with a friend and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Or can I practice what I want to say on you? And doing sort of a dress rehearsal, so to speak. So for some of you, I feel like, and this could be that, so a business partner or a romantic partner or a friend or anything like that, that there may be a feeling that one person's doing more than the other, are taking advantage of the other person, or not fulfilling their commitments, or not putting in the same amount of effort as the other person. So, they say not to keep score. And I agree on that to a point, but I do think there could be a point where you truly feel someone's just, blatantly not honoring their commitments and not putting the energy or time or commitment into a situation compared to what they said they were going to put in. So making sure people's actions and words actually match. And I think you got to call them out on it. That's what that Two of Swords, it's time to have a conversation. You may find out, like if it's a business situation, who knows? You may find out that their significant other or their child is like, there is some sort of family emergency or something really tough going on. So you want to make sure you clear the air before you start adding a story to something that isn't, like they're just lazy, they're just this. And again, they may turn out to just be slackers and all talk and no action. And then with that information, you need to make decisions. Someone could have maybe a drinking problem, or just a bad habit that you may have to put your foot down on. And that's what this is. This is an interesting card. This can be a card about drawing a line in the sand, like putting your foot down. You just want to make sure that you're not on the same side, and you drew a line and turned a situation that potentially could have been solved into my way or the highway, where even if a compromise was possible, it's presented in such a way where the other person is most likely to walk away because, you know, people don't take too kindly. However, for some of you, it is a situation where you're going to have to put your foot down and say, my way or the highway, that's unacceptable. Here's the deal. Take it or leave it. And it may be, you may be feeling a little confused, like, not really sure what's going on here. So I think it's definitely need to clear the air about something this week. Let's see what the overall cards are. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to stop. If the other person is not going to be motivated or inspired or have the passion or energy to put into a situation that they committed to or that I'm putting into it, then do I want to continue to put my energy into something, or is it time to call it quits? So you do have to make a decision about what is worth your time and energy. Is it worth putting more time and energy into this relationship, this friendship, this job situation, this hobby, this this family member, or is it time to realize that we have different priorities and then it's time to let it go? For some of you, you are going to move on to let a situation go because you're just realizing, yeah, it's just not working anymore. It's not right. It's not a good match anymore. And so I'm going to move on to something where it's fruitful and beneficial, and I'm not just putting all sorts of energy in just to go nowhere and to not be matched or supported the way I thought it was going to be, or the way it was agreed upon. And sometimes we have assumptions, and other people have assumptions, and we just don't realize that we're not on the same page. We just sort of assume other people think the same way we do. And so it may be even a time to renegotiate or really talk about, these were my expectations, and they be like, well, these are my expectations. And you may be surprised to find they're really not, you're not on the same page. So anyone going to get married, engaged, taking a relationship to a next level, in a business partnership, like, really talk about, here's my expectations, here's how I see things going. Trying to do these things ahead of time instead of waiting till things have gone sour, or having that tough conversation. And I think a lot of people don't like to have these conversations because, again, if you don't handle it wrong, or if you don't handle it well, or, I mean, sometimes the other person is just going to, no matter how you handle it, be like, you're a jerk and I'm out of here, and storm out. Well, then you have, they're not open and really willing to working with you. And it's better to know that ahead of time. But to have that conversation that could potentially even ruin something, but it's like it wasn't real and sustainable anyway. So it was going to fail at some point because of the miscommunication and the fact that not everyone was on the same page. But then you're moving on to smooth waters, and so either, you guys are coming together and things are going to move forward in an awesome manner, or you're going to move on and put your energy into something that's actually worth your time and energy. Okay, we're going to move on to the sign of Aquarius. So I'm doing the reading for the week of October 8th for Aquarius. And this week I'm using the Green Witch Tarot. nice. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck, you guys have the Knight of Pentacles. So he's a wonderful knight. He's very practical. He's slow and steady, wins the race. The tortoise of the tortoise and the hare. He doesn't require instant gratification. He knows that if he has a good plan and he just chips away at it every day, works at it every day, and is just committed and sees the big picture, that it will pay off. And so he's not, again, a fast moving knight by any means, and that can be frustrating. You do have at the top of the deck the Knight of Wands, and this is the instant gratification, the honeymoon period knight who's just like, instantly like on board and making things happen. And it's fabulous. But I think these are like a great combination together, because it's like, okay, you have the passion and excitement and enthusiasm, and then the discipline in order to sustain it, to really be fruitful, because he can get bored or distracted and move on to something else. But he does bring about change. So you may become inspired this week to make some changes in your life. You do have the Queen of Wands. And so she's more mature. She is able to maintain that enthusiasm and keep her eye on the prize. So I feel like you guys, it's like you're coming into the week with a new idea. Like you want something new, a new relationship, a new job, a new creative endeavor. You may want to move, you may want to travel. So you're starting to prepare. Like you're starting to save your money, you're starting to do the research. You're starting to get qualified for something if you want a different job. You're looking at realtor.com, you're scoping out new areas, you're scoping out new gyms, whatever it is that the changes you want to make, you're starting to figure out, I'm forgetting what the right word is, different places to put your money, to make money and do your investments. This is just a caution that things do take time and are a process, so not to get discouraged if things aren't happening as fast as you want. Some things just take a certain amount of time. So, it's a little tricky. What's not long enough? What's too long? So you have to sort of be practical about it and do your research. And I mean, obviously, if you're growing crops and it's been one day since you planted the seed and you don't see a sprout, well, that's not realistic. You're being impatient. But if it's been a month and you haven't seen anything sprout, well, that seems out of the normal range of when that should happen. So being patient, but knowing when to say, okay, it's time to either make a change or move things along and move on or make that change happen. This Page of Swords, so this is communication again. Getting online, putting yourself out there, trying to figure things out, communicating with the proper people. If you're looking for a new place to live, talking to realtors, people in that area, really just networking. Yeah, that's what I want to say, networking. But social media, maybe you want to do an online business. There's this beautiful owl in the full moon. So being intelligent about it, being smart about it. So you have this passion and the practical pentacles, and this is like, the business plan, and I don't see any cups. So it's not like an emotional reaction. It's a plan. It's a smart plan that you're motivated and working towards. And then you have the Green Man. This is the Fool card. So this is, yeah, it's time to take that journey. It's time to start that new way of life. This is encouraging you. You can't stay stagnant in your life forever if you dream or wish for a better, different life. You have to take the step. But you've done the preparation. I don't feel, yeah, you're excited and enthusiastic about it, but you've put the prep in. You're doing the hard work. And so this is a calculated risk that I think it's definitely worth taking. Let's see what your overall cards are. God, I wonder if some of you, like a very small few of you, may want to go on like a some sort of, maybe you want to go to India or Nepal or something like that and really get deep and spiritual. Maybe some of you want to like hike the Appalachian Trail, or whatever, some sort of, or go on some sort of retreat. This process of deciding you're going to move forward, you're going to have to clean house, metaphorically and maybe literally. Cleaning house, letting go of burdens and responsibilities that aren't really yours. Maybe you've been holding yourself back. Oh, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. It's impossible. I can't move because, I don't know. I'm not going to get as much for my house as I want. And it's kind of like sometimes there's never a good time for anything. So you're really going to have to go within and figure out what's right for you. And I think that's what you've done. And you're like, what's right for me is to move forward. Like, I feel like maybe I haven't been living, or in this part of my life, I haven't been living. And I really want to push myself and move forward with things that inspire me. And so it's time to take that journey. Some of you, it may just be an inner journey. Like maybe you're all of a sudden really into spirituality. Like maybe this is the first time you've seen this channel, and so you're like, oh, I'm going to check out the other things that are on YouTube, and I'm going to read books, and I want to, like, I'm really into this. I haven't seen this before, and it's really resonating with me. But I feel like this change, this new beginning, this new journey is as much, it's spiritual and practical. Like I need to live by water. I need to have a job that fulfills me, that feeds my soul, that I feel inspired and good about. And so I'm taking the steps to make that happen. It may not happen overnight at all, but in a year, I want my life to be more on track with what is right for me, because I'm figuring out what's right for me. Okay, let's move on to Pisces. Hi there, Pisces. It's Jen here. I am using the Green Witch Tarot for your weekly reading for the week beginning October 8th. Everyone take a deep breath. Knight of Pentacles, my God, I think he's come out for at least the last 3 signs. Eight of Pentacles, beautiful. So I feel like there is something, and it doesn't have to be something big. Yeah, there is something that you're in denial about. And this could be, it could be anything. Maybe it's like, oh, I eat too much sugar. I don't exercise enough. But it could be some bigger things, like I'm allowing this person to treat me poorly, or I'm turning a blind eye to a infidelity or an emotional infidelity or something. Or I have a friend that's talking crap about me and or making me feel bad, or this family member just is just unhealthy for me to be around. But it's a bit of the elephant in the room. So I can't remember what sign it was for the October readings, but it reminded me of um, that movie When Harry Met Sally, which is a great older movie, when it's actually Carrie Fisher's character is dating like a married man. And I'm not saying anyone's dating a married person or anything, but she's dating this married man and she'd be talking to her friends and she's like, I don't think he's ever going to leave her. And Meg Ryan's character is like, no one ever thinks he's going to leave her. And she's like, I know, you're right, you're right. Or so it happens like several times, like, I really don't think they're gonna leave her. And they're like, of course he isn't. But she just, even though she can acknowledge it, she just like can't, but just doesn't stop. So it's like it's something like that. It's like where you even know you're doing it and other people, like everyone knows, or maybe you are in real denial, but I don't even think you're in real like total denial where you just can't see it. I just think it's like, okay, it's time to, and it can be self-doubt, it could be insecure, like putting yourself down, or I mean it doesn't have to be anything huge at all, but it's kind of like it's time this week, to tackle something you haven't wanted, that you've been putting off. I think that's a better way to put it. You've been putting it off instead of being like oblivious to it. We do have the Wheel of the Year, the Wheel of Fortune, and this is your fortune's turning, the tides are turning, but it's a song. It's a song. It's a card about understanding that life has ups and downs, and to sort of be just more of accepting of where you are in the present, and that it is temporary and you can make changes happen, um, and then at the same time, as much as you make things happen, life is going to happen around you. So it's a little bit like surrendering control, realizing you can't control everything. So let's focus on the things you can control, and that's us. Um, Everything about us, and thinking and worrying about other people is in a way futile if we are hoping or wanting them to change. It's a waste of energy. So being really productive and thoughtful about where you're putting your energy, and that should be into yourself. So starting to make some changes. This guy keeps coming out. So slow and steady wins the race. He's all about the long game. He doesn't He's very practical and understands that instant gratification is not the best way to go. It's very rarely are you just like, it's like we all want to win the lottery, but this guy is like, "Yeah, okay, I'm probably not going to win the lottery, but I can start saving my money and just squirreling a little bit away. And no, I don't have tons of money to put away, but if I just keep putting a little bit away, it grows over time. If I just start walking 1 mile a day and then slowly increasing it, if I just cut out those sugary soft drinks, or, soft drinks, and then maybe I can add, um, in a couple weeks, instead of that potato chips with my sandwich, an apple or so, you know what I mean? Just start slowly changing the things you want to change. Maybe you want to freshen up your house. Just, you know, paint one room, the smallest room. Start with a bathroom and paint it. And don't overwhelm yourself by trying to tackle your whole life all at once. Just pick something and start to make the changes. And this would point to something that feeds your soul, so that something that helps keep you centered. So what are you most interested in doing in your free time? The ugly color in the bathroom can wait, but what is going to most beneficial be feeding your soul the best? And maybe it is having a space that you feel comfortable and happy in, and that brown color in the bathroom just, depresses you every morning that you get up, and you want to be able to start the day in a happy room. I mean, it's whatever it is for you. This could be yoga, this could be painting, working on cars, walking in the woods, writing, and it could be anything that for you um, helps you stay centered, present, and happy. Make time for those things. Now, I feel like it is going to be a slow change in some, like, for me, this card is just saying, I think we get conditioned to how things were in the past, that we miss opportunities because we just don't think they could happen for us, or that we're worthy of it, even perhaps. So be open to an opportunity, and don't sort of snub it and think it's too good for you, you're not good enough for it, or something like that. Um, because I do feel like even these little changes, just having that mindset of going from here to, okay, I can do this. I got this, right? I can make the changes I want, and it doesn't have to be all at once, but just having the mindset of, I'm going to make these changes, I'm going to do it. But there still could be open to sort of any of the new possibilities, because you're like starting a new life, a new chapter. Like, some people may even be like, oh, wow, you're different in whatever way, and those are the people that like you in your little box, and you are this person, and blah blah blah, and they can sometimes get very uncomfortable. So be prepared when you start to make changes in your life, for some people not being supportive of it. But usually these are not the people, those are kind of a telling sign of who are the people that are worthy to be in your life. And if they're going to sort of not be supportive of you bettering yourself, like, that has nothing to do with them, right? Yeah, you're like woke. You're like, you're you had some inspiration, you like, something clicked for you, you got something, like, you're realizing, you're letting go of control and surrendering, and just looking at what you can manifest and what you can control, and moving forward with that. And the witch card, the magician, just says you have all the tools you need. You just need to keep mixing and matching till you find the right combination that works for you, the right recipe for you. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week. Take care.